Good evening and welcome to Netzach Yisrael Daily Kitzur Shulchan Aruch Shir. Today we are continuing with Hilchos Pesach, and we are starting and completing Siman Kuf Tes. That's Siman 109. Din Hamayim, the rules of the water that you have to use for making the matzah. Sif Aleph. In Loshnes HaMatzahs El B'Mayim Shalonu Halayla. You mustn't knead the matzahs except with water that has been already drawn, that's been sort of rested overnight. Meaning, you should draw the water in the after the evening before, and they should remain drawn, detached from the body of water all night. But even if the night lasts more than 12 hours, you may not knead with them until the light of the day. And if the night is short, and the night doesn't last, there's not 12 hours of night until the day rises. You have to wait until you've had 12 hours from the time when you drew the water. And the general practice among the population is that as soon as it becomes the day, they will knead with water they drew the night before, even if it hasn't yet been 12 hours. But even though they have authorities from which they can rely on, most of the poskim are stringent on this point. But therefore you should be careful to make sure you wait 12 hours. If you're not able to properly calculate the time of Ben Hashmashas, then you should do it a little bit earlier than that. So long as you don't draw the water before the sun is actually for Shkia. The minhag is to first sort of filter, sieve the water, and then to cover them. And you need to put them somewhere, keep them overnight, somewhere cold. And when you're taking them in the day back to the house where you're going to actually make the matzah, you should be careful that as you're carrying them outside, the sun shouldn't hit the water. You're allowed to draw in one time water that you're going to use over many days. But the mitzvah is to draw the water for each day individually. And the minhag is not to draw with an old earthenware vessel, even if it's a Pesach vessel, unless it's glazed. Because an earthenware vessel that's old, that is not being glazed, ain't a hidden mitzvah. It's not hidden mitzvah, it's not nice for mitzvah, but and it's not appropriate to change the minhag. Sif Dalet. Hanahoros b'mei Nisan. Rivers generally during the month of Nisan are piharov hinyosa korbin menabeirus. They are usually colder than the wells. And therefore it's better to draw the water from the river. But sometimes Hanahoros gedolim have shas shlogim. Sometimes the rivers are larger because they've had snow melt. And therefore they're not so cold. And therefore, in that situation, it's better to draw from the wells. You shouldn't draw the water through someone who's not Jewish. In particular, you should let Yisrael do the drawing of the water. You shouldn't put the water that you've drawn into any vessel that previously had honey or other fruit juices in, unless you've kashed it first with boiling water. All the more so, you shouldn't put them into a kli which previously had something sharp in them. Even if the sharp thing wasn't actually chometz, because through the sharpness of whatever was in there, it speeds up the leavening process. And in that situation, even kashering with boiling water doesn't help. And you also shouldn't put them into a copper vessel, because it doesn't cool it down as much as other vessels would do. If he sees that the water which he drew is not going to be enough, you are allowed to add other water to the water that you've drawn, so long as the majority of the water is the water that you drew the night before. Ideally, it should be at least 2/3 of the water should be from the water that you drew. And you should try and do better if possible. To draw the water that you're going to add into the Mayim Shalonu from a pump, or some other covered well, where the sun hasn't hit the water before you drew it. If you plan to bake matzah on Sunday, you have to draw the water on Thursday night. Obviously, you can't do it on Shabbos because you can't draw water on Shabbos. Because on Erev Shabbos, you also can't do it on Erev Shabbos because it's not possible to exactly calculate Ben Hashmashos. And if it's really emergency, if you hadn't drawn the water on Thursday, you can draw the water on Friday after Mincha. Over Shabbos, or in the worst case, you can do it on Shabbos at the Yehudi, relying on someone not Jewish. Fifth test. You may not pour out the water before a dead person, and you can't pour it out because of the equinox, some sorts of superstition. As it says, someone who's guarding a mitzvah should not know something evil. Nevertheless, if you know that the equinox is going to fall and you have to pour out the water, you should put into the water some part of a small and clean bit of iron, like say for example a needle, and it should be hanging in the water with a thread. So you don't have to even put your hand in the water afterwards, take the needle out, but you can pull it out with the thread. Okay, have a good evening.